here.
Yep.
Another podcast.
And another country, new country we visited.
For both of us.
Yeah.
So that was exciting. I don't think there's too many of those
It's
around.
it's a rather small country
Yeah.
in southeast corner of Asia.
Yeah.
And it is called
Cambodia.
Cambodia.
It is
Home
a
of
very...
the Khmer.
The Khmer.
Khmer.
Yes.
Yes.
And the capital is Phnom Penh.
Phnom Penh.
The guide kept saying Phnom Penh, and I'm like, wait a minute. It's the same name?
Yeah. It's
It
just
is.
a different Phnom. It's Phnom, not Phnom.
Oh,
So
I
don't,
see.
Yeah, don't confuse that with Indonesia.
All right. When you're making flight plans.
Yes, definitely. You'd be in two
Make
different
sure.
places. Yeah, it was having come from Singapore to Thailand. Cambodia was definitely
A bit of a culture shock.
well, it was not as prosperous, obviously.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Maybe, I guess I could be prejudiced because it's a socialist communist
It's
economy.
a kingdom.
It's a kingdom, but its political leaning is socialist
all.
communist.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of Lenin in there, maybe some Marxism, just to round it out for good measure.
I guess.
But it was, the main part of the city, everything that, you see on a tour was clean and fairly new.
Looked like it was
The
working.
road infrastructure, they were doing
The
a
roads
lot.
were very good.
Looked like there had been a lot of investment prior to COVID. And we saw a lot of unfinished condominiums,
A lot of
seaside
COVID buildings. That's what I decided to call
COVID buildings, yeah. Empty high rises and empty
Yeah.
resorts.
And not even empty, just not finished.
Yeah, just abandoned, just
Yeah,
forgotten. Yeah.
You could see they
They looked
worked
like
a hard way.
concrete shells. Some of them had no windows,
Yeah,
just bare
yeah.
openings.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Just the concrete part of them.
A lot of people never came back after COVID to finish the
Supposedly,
project.
the Chinese that were investing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So we did take an excursion. We were only in Cambodia for a few hours.
It was a very short.
It was a short day, and we took a tour that was going to take us to a couple cultural places. So the very first place was
Wat Kram.
Wat Kram, and that was a Buddhist monastery
Yes.
and school, and they have a pagoda there, which means they have a temple.
Yes. And there was also a graveyard,
That's
a
right.
Buddhist graveyard. Just for statistical purposes, the country's 97% Buddhist, 2% Islam,
Really?
yeah, 0.3% Christian, and the rest was just a whole mix of stuff.
I don't
Very
recall
Buddhist country.
seeing many Western people there
Um,
outside of the tourist bus like us.
I don't know. I saw a lot of round-eyed people
Okay.
on scooters,
Oh, all right.
which, they looked like they were doing local kind of stuff.
Good.
Now, it doesn't necessarily mean they're American,
No.
but there were a number of Europeans. I heard German.
Okay.
A lot of German beers were there. That was interesting. German-style beers.
Yes, we've had no shortage of good lagers
No,
to choose from.
and they follow the German brewing rules with just the 4 ingredients, and they do feature German hops.
Wonder if they import them.
I don't know. Maybe they do. I guess
I'm
they
not
could
gonna
grow
look
hops
that up,
there.
but yeah.
Yeah.
So
if
we
I get
went
bored
to.
one night and can't sleep, I'll see.
We did go to the first pagoda and we visited. It was very pretty. It was very. They had flags up. I really liked the flags. They told
Over
us.
the courtyard, yeah.
Yes, that the monks all come together and eat breakfast together as a shared meal in this huge space. You could see on the end where they cooked it, and they all sat on the floor and enjoyed it together. They had a school there for young boys, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can enter priesthood as a young man and then still make your mind up as you get closer to adulthood, do you want to continue or not?
Right.
There was a library
Yes.
on the side as well as the classroom.
And a cemetery, you said.
And a cemetery.
Yeah.
And I think some of those buildings we saw next door might have been dormitories or something.
I think so. Now, interestingly enough, monks don't have dinner. They only have two meals a day.
This particular group.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. This
Because-
group only has 2 meals a day.
Remember, some of the groups, they go out and beg for their breakfast.
Oh, okay.
Well, they don't beg.
Not really
they go
beg,
with their
it's-
alms.
Yes.
With their alms.
It's up to the community to support them. So
yes.
they go around the neighborhood and ask for lunch. That's how this group did.
Well, this group
for
did lunch in
Yeah.
Cambodia, but other places had lunch.
Right.
But
right.
went out and asked the community to provide them breakfast.
Right. Right.
So I guess it's really just
Black
the kind
Prom,
of,
that was their practice.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yes.
Yeah.
We were there a short while, and I will say it was a good hot day.
It was warm. It was about 97.
Yeah. Yeah. The bus was nice and cool, so
Yes,
that
it
was
was.
nice on and off the bus. Then we went to yet another market.
Yes. Now this
starting to
one
get
wasn't
to here
heavy.
with the markets, but
this
yeah.
was not a heavy wet market.
No. Though there were
There was some
fish
stalls
and,
in the back.
Oh
but,
yeah,
I
you
mean,
could get that.
the majority of it was daily supplies, beauty shops, jewelry stores like
Yes,
crazy.
Yes.
Wow, lots of gold.
And clothing.
Clothing.
I really had to work hard to find a magnet.
Yeah.
But I did. It was interesting. We were walking up and down these rows, and the pathway truly was this way. So we're scurrying down these little pathways, and there are booths 5 feet square, maybe 6, maybe. And ladies are laying down with their heads in sync. It was a beauty shop, 5 feet square, 25 square feet. It was so.
And they had nail things and all in these teeny little spaces.
Yeah. Getting their nails done.
Yeah,
So
it was like one customer at a time.
It was. I would have loved to do it, but our guy gave us like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was obsessed with the magnet. So, and we had to exchange money because we only had the baht.
Yes.
Which we still have too much baht. So my Thai friends might get baht when I get home.
There you go. Only if they're going to Thai land.
I'm sure they will eventually.
Okay.
Yeah. We did get a little bit of Cambodian money, which we spent almost all of it, except for a little bit for you put in your notebook.
Yep. Yeah. Then we visited another
Pagoda.
pagoda.
Yep.
This one was a fair drive out of town. We got to see a lot of the public beaches.
Yes.
And it was a Sunday, right?
It was.
And there were a lot. I mean, people were out. They had their little tents and hammock setups and coolers. You could tell they were out there for family days. And people were kicking little hacky sack-like things around and all kinds of activities.
It was cool to see that the country kept up their beaches so nicely, and that that was considered. That's what you do on Sunday with your family is you go to the beach, especially if you live,
there
in that
city.
town.
Yeah.
That was very nice. The pagoda that we went to that was out of town was bigger.
Yeah.
Though we only saw one monk. And
yes, he was there to give blessings to the tourists.
Yes. So we
got ours.
Yeah, got our blessing. He shook water at us while he chanted, and then we had to pay respect and say something that meant amen.
Yes.
Yes, we had to do it from our nose.
No, from here.
Yeah, right. That's what I meant.
Between the eyebrows, because he was a priest.
Yes.
And so that was kind of interesting.
Yep.
And then the main temple was 100 yards away, and it was a large. It had a pretty good sized Buddha, 20 some foot tall, at least maybe 30. It big, and they had a couple musicians that
were very good.
Yeah. We got a little sound from them.
Did you notice they had Louis Vuitton T-shirts?
I did not.
Yeah. I'm wondering if those were authentic.
Well, it is Cambodia, not Singapore.
That's true.
We don't know.
And then to end our day, we drove to a resort. And
yes.
We were invited to use the pool, but we hadn't brought our swim gear. But they had a nice outdoor shaded area, so we had some beers and some French fries. And home friends. And met some new people and enjoyed some people we knew.
Rudy and
Martina
from Deutschland.
Mm-hmm.
And we sat around and chatted with them. We even had dinner with them that evening.
Yep.
That was fun. And of course, as the evening went on, more German words popped out of my head.
Well, you got to kind of break the seal there. So,
yeah, but it was fun. They're a nice couple, and we've seen them around since then. So.
Well, there are only, like you said, less than 500 people on board.
Right.
So we are, once you run an excursion with somebody, hi, how are you? Yeah, so I feel like I know a lot of people on board.
It's kind of nice. Nothing's crowded.
No.
So the ship only holds 600 or so.
684 passengers.
Okay. So it's down to well over 100 people.
Yeah.
I was able to walk down half an hour ago and just throw our stuff in the washer and get it done.
Hasn't had the laundry drama as much.
No. Yeah, that's good.
The water behind us is beautiful. It's got a nice turquoise tint to it. The land you see behind you is actually Vietnam.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about Vietnam on the next podcast.
Are we going to do?
All 3 days.
4 days. So would we do just one on Saigon?
Yes.
AKA Ho Chi Minh City.
Yes, and then
that was 2 days, and we could cover. So we'll do a two-parter on Vietnam, I think.
Yeah, it is.
It is a wonderful country. I just have my ideological issues.
He even didn't like the magnet I bought because it had the commie star on it.
That's their flag.
It's their flag, absolutely.
It was noticeable how our guide kind of said that even today, people from North Vietnam have to travel south to find work.
And he said we're not going to talk about the war.
He did not. That was good.
But that's all for...
No, he was just saying, the major universities are in the south. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the infrastructure from South Vietnam was preserved. There are lots of new construction. Our last day will be a visit to North Vietnam, and we'll be able to kind of compare and contrast the cities. But it certainly seemed like if you needed to go south to find good work and get an education.
So stay tuned for that episode.
Yep.
But our postcard today is actually this is a
Natron.
Yes, this is a postcard from the future. So
from the future.
This is from Vietnam, but it's going to go to our friends Sue and Rich in Maryland.
Maryland Sue and Maryland Rich and the new extended family.
Oh, that's right, and maybe Maryland Miles.
Yes, indeed.
Maybe we'll send it to Miles. That's what
I
we'll
like
do.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll send it to Miles. That way Daddy or Grandma or Grandpa will have to read it to him.
Well, there you go. So I guess that's all for today. It is extremely loud out here.
It is. Windy. We had a bit of a storm coming in this morning. The water is still choppy, high winds, and you can probably hear it in the background. But
and for once, it's not 100 stinking degrees.
I know. The high today was only 82, I think.
It
I
just felt like a breath of fresh air.
It was gorgeous.
Fabulous. That's why
it was still cold on the bus, so I had my blanket to keep me comfortable.
He did. All right, guys, that's it. 15 minutes in and out.
That's a good one.
Yep.
All righty.
It's a wrap. Adios.
Oh, what was our word for cheers?
Yo.
Yo.
That's,
Yo. Cheers.
Yo is Vietnamese. So
Cheers. Yes. All righty. Bye bye.